Two HVAC companies in Nashville, Tennessee. One of them has 4,700 reviews and ranks number 2 on Google Maps. The other one has just 1,800 reviews and is ranked 6th. Which one do you think ChatGPT recommends when someone asks for the best HVAC repair in Nashville? The business in 6th gets the ChatGPT recommendation, while the business with 4,700 reviews doesn't even get mentioned. Now, I run a 7-figure SEO agency, and after helping dozens of freelancers and small agencies scale their own agency to 6 figures, when I discovered this ChatGPT pattern, I realized it was the biggest shift in local search since Google My Business launched. So in this video, I'm going to show you the data about which businesses ChatGPT actually recommends, how I reverse engineered where ChatGPT pulls its recommendations from, and why today's Google winners might not be tomorrow's as ChatGPT usage explodes. Plus, I'm going to give you the exact prompt that reverse engineers why ChatGPT recommends your competitors over you, and the follow-up that creates a 30-day action plan to fix every gap. So let me show you exactly how I helped local businesses get recommended by ChatGPT. I have an HVAC client in South Florida. He received a huge win, an $8,000 job from a customer who was 90 minutes away from any of his locations. In Google's world, this lead was impossible. So I called the customer and asked how they found my client. The answer? ChatGPT recommended them. ChatGPT doesn't care about proximity. That's when I realized there's a completely separate recommendation system running parallel to Google's algorithm. The same people searching on Google are often also asking ChatGPT for recommendations. Even with ChatGPT growing so fast, Google search is still also growing. So when you show up in both places, you become the obvious choice. My clients using this system are closing 40% more deals than they used to when they were only focused on Google rankings. A massive vote of trust for both Google and ChatGPT to recommend you. But let me show you the data from Nashville itself. Here we go, air conditioning repair in Nashville. That's the core target keyword that most HVAC contractors want. And we have air conditioning service, Donaldson, and temp control. 4,700 reviews here. Now, I'll flip over to ChatGPT, recommend an air conditioning repair service in Nashville, same keyword. We get Kuhn and Hoffman Brothers. Neither one of them are in the top 3. And if I hit more businesses, I end up with this list, same top 3, and I'm looking for Kuhn or Hoffman. There's Hoffman. They're all the way down on Google Maps. So I had to figure out what sources does ChatGPT actually use that the entire local SEO industry is missing. So I spent a few months reverse engineering ChatGPT's recommendations across dozens of different cities. My goal was to figure out what was really driving ChatGPT, and it is not what most people think. Now, ChatGPT works completely differently than Google does. Google cares about links pointing to your website. It's built on a crawler that follows links. ChatGPT cares about your business being mentioned in credible, trustworthy sources. This is why high-quality, verification-required citations work so well for ChatGPT. They're creating mentions, not links. But here's where it gets interesting. ChatGPT uses Bing's data, not Google's. All that sweet Microsoft money. So many businesses, honestly, they don't even have a Bing for Business listing, which means they're basically invisible to ChatGPT. Now, sure, your Google business profile helps, but ChatGPT relies heavily on what Bing can see. Now that means Bing Places, Apple Maps, Yelp, niche directories, and other quality public listings all play a role. The more complete and consistent your presence across these trusted sources, the more likely you are to get recommended. Now, while most people are still obsessed with Google business profile optimization, ChatGPT is cross-referencing multiple data sources to decide who to recommend. And like I said, if you're not in Bing, you may as well not exist to ChatGPT. So we started trying to get clients verified on these platforms manually. And when I did that, I discovered why so many local businesses are just ignoring them. Honestly, a lot of SEO agencies ignore these too. Apple Maps verification requires business documentation, phone calls, and it often just fails without explanation. Bing Places also has strict verification requirements with postcards that often just don't arrive. If you're trying to use a VA with a Gmail account to get these listings, they're going to get rejected immediately. These platforms prioritize established businesses with proper documentation. So that's why businesses who figure this out will gain a 6-month or more head start while their competitors are still focused on Google. By the time everyone else catches on, you'll already be established across all the platforms that ChatGPT trusts. But there's one mistake that kills this strategy before you even start. And that mistake is basically just trying to shortcut it with fake or low quality citation. Now look, Google's algorithm can be shortcutted. That's what a lot of SEO agencies have spent the last 20 years trying to do. And then of course, Google updates its algorithms and the agencies run off to find new shortcuts that are still being rewarded. That isn't how ChatGPT works. ChatGPT can easily recognize low quality mentions and ignore them. You need genuine, verified presence across trusted platforms. So here are 3 strategies that actually work. First one I'm going to talk about is nested schema markup. ChatGPT isn't nearly as good at crawling the internet as Google is. It relies heavily on schema. Personal injury attorney client of mine won a $2.7 million settlement recently. I added that specific settlement data to their local business schema, and a couple days later, ChatGPT started mentioning that settlement when recommending attorneys in that city. With the right schema, you can feed ChatGPT exact phrases that it will often repeat word for word as a part of its recommendation. Let me show you what this looks like. So one of the easiest types of schema to nest is service schema inside local business schema. This is the homepage for Donaldson Air. This is the business ranking number 2, 4,700 reviews. So what I'm going to do is grab their existing schema. So here I am at the structured data testing tool, and I'll hit go to the markup validator, and I want to just run their homepage. And the one I really care about is the HVAC business. So this is their local business schema for HVAC business. I'm going to go ahead and copy this so I can give it a ChatGPT. And the other thing I want to do is grab the services on their GBP. So to do that, I'm going to look up their business right here, and I'm just going to hit category finder, and that's going to open it up in GMB Everywhere, which is a free extension I have installed. And here's what we see. We have HVAC contractor and all of these services. So I can copy all of these services. I'm basically just going to very simply tell ChatGPT, I want nested schema. Please edit the schema to add these nested services. These are the services I copied from GMB Everywhere, and then I copied in their existing schema and ran the prompt. And here's what ChatGPT generated, nested schema. We want to check this, so I'm going to copy ChatGPT's nested schema. I'm going to head back to the structured data testing tool and go to a validator, and here I'm going to validate the code snippet and run it, 0 error, 0 warnings, and we can see all of the information and services that we now have on this schema. Much more complete, much more thorough schema that if I were Donaldson, I would definitely want to implement on the homepage. But schema markup alone isn't enough. You need to give ChatGPT rich, detailed content to reference, which brings us to the second strategy, comprehensive FAQ section on your Google business profile and your website. So I'm going to grab the exact prompt from my school community and run it live so you can see how this works. We want to grab questions that actual people in that area are asking. So here's the prompt in my school community. Go ahead and freeze frame, have AI grab this prompt. If you don't want to join the community, no problem. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this prompt, head on over to ChatGPT and run it. What we're going to do is HVAC contractor in Nashville. And we can see what the prompt gives us. The customer types, the situations, the language patterns, quotes from them, recurring pain points, and some suggested FAQs using real language. Now here's a great secret. Once you have the FAQ and the answers written, go ahead, grab them and add them to your GBP landing page. Then grab your local business schema with the same FAQ and ask ChatGPT to nest FAQ schema into the local business schema. Since your FAQ already uses questions and phrases that local searchers are looking for, this is a great way to feed ChatGPT exactly what it wants so it can provide you as a recommendation. Now, a lot of people are going to stop at FAQ optimization, but there's a third strategy that honestly is the most powerful of the 3, strategic platform presence. Now, we have a client who's a house cleaner in Austin, and they implemented a Reddit authority building strategy. The result, $23,000 in leads last month alone from people who found her through Reddit and through ChatGPT recommendations. So I'm going to show you the 2 prompts that you can use to help make this work. First, it's a prompt to find the right threads on Reddit relevant to your local business. So here's that prompt. Again, feel free to freeze frame, ask AI to grab it, or join my school community, link in the description. But I'll change this to air conditioning repair in Fort Wayne, and it has found a wide variety of industry threads, local threads. It's providing links to all of these different threads and some under-leveraged subreddits that I can also use here. It's giving me the summary table so that I can go out there and find these threads. Now, once I found good threads to respond to, I can come back to here and use the second prompt, the Reddit thread responder. So here, again, we're going to do HVAC repair or air conditioning repair. We're going to give them the URL for the homepage so the AI knows the types of language that we're using, and then we'll put the thread text in here. And this is very specific directions to write responses that are helpful and valuable and don't sound like AI written responses. You can see words and phrases to avoid and structure rules to avoid it sounding like AI. Now, this house cleaner started with 0 karma and 0 credibility on Reddit. She spent 3 months participating in Austin and industry subreddit, helpfully commenting on posts about moving, home maintenance, house cleaning, and built karma by generally being helpful. Then she started to post a couple of AMAs. I am a professional house cleaner. Ask me anything about removing stains, organizing, or deep cleaning. She provided real value, answering questions from pet hair removal to organizing tips, never mentioning her business unless asked. Now, her business was in her Reddit profile, and it's important to note that ChatGPT can see your Reddit name and link it to a business in your profile. Doing all of that within 3 months, she became the go-to cleaning expert in Austin's Reddit community. People started calling her directly from Reddit. But what happened next really surprised me. When someone asked ChatGPT for house cleaner recommendations near Austin, it started recommending her by name because of her Reddit authority. So how do you know if you're implementing these strategies correctly? This next prompt that I promised you earlier reverse engineers why ChatGPT recommends your competitors instead of recommending you. So here's the prompt for ChatGPT recommendation gap analysis. I can copy this entire prompt. Again, it's in the school community. If you don't want to join, go ahead and freeze frame, use AI to grab the content. So there we go. I went ahead and pasted this in, and I'm going to change the business name. We're going to do Donaldson Air. They are in Nashville. Primary category is HVAC contractor. And I'm also going to give the homepage URL just to make sure the AI knows exactly who we're talking about. And we'll go ahead and run the prompt. So as we saw before, the top local competitors that ChatGPT recommends are not Donaldson Air. And now we have a very clear set of reasons why they're winning. Citations, reviews, GVP optimization, schema, mentions and backlinks, all the things I talked about before. And what's really cool about this, we now have a fix-it action plan. Go get citations, get more reviews, optimize your GVP, add structured data, get local mentions, and focus on local backlinks. This is everything we just talked about doing. Excellent to see it verified here. The key is being mentioned across multiple trusted sources with consistent, detailed information. The more complete your digital footprint, the more confident ChatGPT becomes in recommending you. Now, there is a tool, LeadSnap, and it's going to allow you to automate the citation building very easily. There's an affiliate link in the description. It'll give you half off the first 3 months, and for $20 a month, you can build all of the very high quality citations without going through the verification hassles. Now, the schema and FAQ optimization are still going to need you to run these prompts and add your human touch. Even if you implement all of these strategies perfectly, there's still one factor that can make or break your ChatGPT recommendations: consistency. If your business name, address, or phone number is different across platforms, ChatGPT gets confused, thinks it's your different businesses, and won't recommend you confidently. This is why most DIY attempts fall apart. In nearly every city I tested, every business recommended by Google's own AI overview had nearly 100% consistent citations. Google Maps were 50-50 or even less because Google's base algorithm just doesn't prioritize this and ignores inconsistent citation. The AI overview and ChatGPT don't ignore them. They're much more strict about consistency than traditional Google ranking. So use a tool like LeadSnap. It's going to keep all of your citations consistent, and with its API connection, it'll get you 51 of the best citations very easily. Now look, discovering how ChatGPT's hidden recommendation system works is powerful, but while you're positioning yourself ahead of the competition, there's something even bigger happening that most people are completely missing. Google has rolled out AI overviews to nearly 20% of all searches, and it's about to create another massive opportunity. Now, you've just learned how ChatGPT's secret recommendation system works, but that's only one piece of the AI puzzle, Google's own AI is now answering questions directly in search results, and it's recommending local businesses. The businesses showing up there are following completely different rules than anything that we've seen before with Google's algorithm. So if you want to learn how to show up in Google's AI overview and why it's the biggest opportunity since the Google Business Profile launch, click this video right here, because the opportunity is massive. We're talking about positioning yourself in a completely untapped market where there's literally zero competition right now. The people who figure out both systems first are going to dominate the next 5 years, and the window to do that will not stay open forever.